Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Nerchio and Daisy here on Daybreak. Now, first thing I want to say, Daisy spawning as the red Protoss player on the top right-hand side of the map, and Nerchio, everyone's second favorite Zerg player to hate, is spawning as the blue Zerg. I say that with all due respect to Nerchio. I do know that Nerchio is very, very passionate in his gaming, and I think he does a good job putting up a front. That's all I'll say. I haven't met Nerchio personally. If I do, I will let you know what he's like as a person in the same room. Now, taking a look at the strategies, we are going to be going in for a Forge Fast expansion coming in from Daisy. Some of the things that I did want to mention, if you guys have not checked or have not gone to my Facebook page recently, definitely check it out. There's actually a couple contests going on there right now. There's a video celebrating the 2,000, at least 2,000 numbered games that I have for StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, and here's to another 2,000 in Heart of the Swarm, as Heart of the Swarm is just coming up around the corner. I believe this week I am giving away a mouse, a couple of books, StarCraft 2 books, and then also some StarCraft 2 memorabilia. Now, so far, we can see that Nerchio is not... Oh, no, there it is. Finally going for the spawning pool, and not too out of the ordinary. That spawning pool being placed down here. The probe is just going to try and stop this drone from doing a little bit of mining. Daisy's probe will actually pick up some minerals, head back down over here to the natural expansion, and then attempt to pylon block, or at least probe block, Nerchio. Now, taking a look here, there is the drone making its way in. It looks as though the drone is dealing a little bit of damage, but not going to really be able to do very much in terms of total damage there. You can see that the drone is still trying to pick apart this probe, as we are seeing the Nexus already placed down by Daisy. Now, let's see. Oh, that probe is already down to 5 hit points. And does he get the kill? That is so incredibly close. Wow. And Daisy, so close at getting this one probe lost, will be able to retreat, return home. And is he going to actually return with those minerals in his mouth? I'm not quite sure. Taking a look back here, Nerchio is already moving out with 4 Zerglings. You can see that one drone is making its way over to that third base. It will be established right around that 4-minute mark. A very common strategy in this PvZ matchup. A very fast third base in order to counteract the very fast Nexus coming in from Daisy. And Nerchio does have this all scouted out already. Forge is down. Gateways, you can see the double pylon block already coming into position. That photon cannon will become operational, and then we may even see perhaps a cybernetics core right here, and there's the cancellation there. So a cybernetics core may be placed down here in just a moment. There we are. A very long, narrow walkway for Zerglings, just a gauntlet, which they'll just get torn from limb to limb. Now, taking a look at Nerchio's strategy, Nerchio knows that he's not going to be engaging against a very large army. Daisy only has one gateway. He doesn't even have cybernetics core up yet, which means that he's quite far away from that warp gate tech, at least about 2 minutes in game time. And even if he did start placing down gateways, he wouldn't really be able to train up the necessary units to harass Nerchio. Nerchio is already running up, or will be running up, on 3 hatcheries momentarily. A queen is already making its way down, as it should. And the queen running on 3 bases should be able to get 12 to 16 drones on these mineral patches each very quickly. Beyond this, I am quite surprised that Nerchio is not going into additional queens. Nerchio only sitting on 3 queens right now, or 2 queens with a third one on the way, means that he will really be susceptible to any sort of gateway unit harassment. The Zerglings, without metabolic boost, is not going to be that fast. You can see level 1 weapons upgrade already coming in from Daisy. And if enough zealots are on the field, those Zerglings will just simply be shredded in a moment's notice. Now, we are going into that robotics facility now. Are we training up sentries? Yes, we are. And Daisy may be going for 2 immortal, or or 2 base Immortal Sentry all in. A very, very common strategy, a very, very common tactic against a fast expanding Zerg, as we see here. This double base, really Nerchio is exposing himself to a lot of surface area, which means a lot of harassment. You can see 43 drones, and we are now teching the tier 2, a quick layer. We should be seeing, I believe, a Roach Warren soon as well. Otherwise, we are not gonna have good days for this Immortal Sentry. The Immortal Sentry just very, very strong, especially against Zerglings, as those Zerglings will not even be able to get within melee range of those Immortals and those Sentries. Are we going to perhaps see a quick tech to an Infestation Pit as well? That might work out, but Nerchio really needs some more units. I am quite surprised he's only able to train up Zerglings right now, and unless he is getting up a lot of gas, even a Spire may be a little bit late. You can see the Roach Warren now coming into play. That is a little bit later than I would have liked to have seen, but I don't think he's really going to be hurting. Now, in comes the Zealots, in comes the Sentries, the Warp Prism is already in play, Twilight Council now coming in as well. This is a strange just a flip of the script, as this Warp Prism is going to try to engage. Level 1 weapons upgrade on these Zealots should have a very, very strong effect. There are some more units now coming in. Force fields quickly coming in as well, making sure that there is very, very minimal surface area. Daisy really trying to maximize his damage now, as Daisy trying to push forward with these Zealots. How much damage can it do? That is the question, as those Sentries now head up the ramp. Oh, but they will get a little bit pincered here. Are we going to perhaps see a force field on the ramp as the Sentry is picked up? Is it going to get dropped down? There we go. More Zealots now warping in as well, as we are getting in the level 1 armor upgrades. Zerglings are not winning out in this war just because of the level 1 weapons upgrade here. The Warp Prism now needs to escape down to 2 hit points, and it does survive. A huge, huge play there, as the Warp Prism now going to be warping in from the far side. A beautiful, beautiful play here, as now we see more Zealots warping in. The Zealots are the perfect counter to these Zerglings. However, it does need to minimize the surface area. Some beautiful dancing there by that Stalker, jumping up into the Warp Prism, only to come back down. All right, here you go. Spine Crawlers are now trying to come in. Zealots, what's going to be happening here? Are the Zealots all going to get picked up? They might be. No, more units now warping in. Unit count is 46 drones to 50, or 46 probes to 56 drones. The Zealots are now just going to simply walk up onto the high ground, or get dropped up onto the high ground instead. More Zealots now warping in. You can see the Roaches are now coming in. There's a cancellation there, and with the introduction of Roaches and trying to fight on creep, this is not going to work out well unless the Stalker is going to get dropped down. Yes, Stalker takes down the Queen, and beautifully done, as Daisy now knows that this one Warp Prism has very, very low chance of actually getting shot down. Okay, Queen now trying to make its way over here from the low ground. A new Queen now being battled in as well. Queen's now chasing off this one particular, it was what Zell's trying to chase off this one particular Queen. Warp Prism now making its way back in. Are we going to see more units warping in? Yes, we are. And a huge, huge play. If this is not going to be enough, Daisy now needs to back away here again, as Infestors are finally coming in. A beautiful, beautiful hold by Nerchio. The Infested Terrans are simply going to be too much, as the fungal growths do come down. Spine Crawlers now making their way in as well. Zealots now trying to push over, but they are not going to find any real units to take down either, as they have been stuck with fungal growth. Okay, couple low hit point Zealots all going to get poked one at a time. Queen now making its way over. Are the Zealots going to actually finish this up at all? Harvester count is still 46 to 52. Drones being sacrificed to make Spine Crawlers. Is it going to be enough, as the Queen finally going to take down that last Warp Prism? The pressure is off, but is the damage done? That is going to be the question here. I would have expected a Mortal Sentry all in. I was wrong on that account. I thought Daisy might try to follow it up with, well, wow, there is a Mortal Sentry. All right, I thought he might actually follow it up with, Charge, Archon, Zealot Archon strategy, but that didn't work either. You can see Nerchio doing a quick flyby with that Overseer. A new Immortal has been added in here. You can see a lot of Immortals and Sentries being composed down off over here as well. 2-0 upgrades now coming in, as Glio Reconstitution just being started. Only level 1 armor upgrades, but that is just enough to help these Zerglings last a little bit longer until level 2 weapons upgrades do come online. No chrono boost out from there. I am surprised. Daisy needs to know how important that level 1 armor or level 2 armor upgrades is over those units. More stalkers now being added, and with Blink part of the composition, superior tech, Daisy may try to follow this up here in just a moment. Now, we should be seeing a Nexus warp in here alongside a whole bunch of gateways acting as a wall. Stalkers now blinking their way in. Down goes one sentry, or one immortal, another immortal. Sorry, not immortals. Down it goes to a lot of infestors. As the infestors are getting taken down, you can see Roaches trying to get away. Roaches do not have the movement speed upgrade as the Stalkers. Will they be able to blink forward and finish it off? There goes another infestor there, and infestors getting picked apart as now Daisy with the superior army knocking on the front door. 4 immortals in this composition. Any hope of Roaches or spine crawlers being that effective has pretty much been nullified already, as the Zerglings have pretty much overcommitted there. All you need now is a couple of force fields down, and now those Zerglings will not be able to slip through. Those sentries are, however, getting picked apart. They're moving a little bit too far forward as the Zerglings, Roaches, and Infestors still trying to battle it out. Nerchio launching in a whole bunch of infested Terran. Is it going to work out here as Daisy trying to clean it up? There is still a good number of immortals, and with all of those immortals, the hopes are still alive for Daisy as drones now coming off the mineral line. Is this going to be enough? The immortals now backing off. Infestors trying to push their way in. It quickly gets taken down. And there is the GG by Nerchio. Daisy taking game 1 in this series in a very impressive fashion. Really utilizing, I really got to say, really utilizing that warp prism, that zealot sentry pressure really early on very effectively. Also, if you didn't notice, there was a second warp prism down over here with a whole bunch of zealots going to town, taking down multiple workers. A main fight was going on here though, so even if Nerchio had held this off, I think this is where the majority of the damage was being dealt. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1 in this series. A very, very impressive game. You can take a look at the spending. More armies spent, more technology, and more economy spent across the board by Nerchio, meaning he also had more income overall, but it didn't really matter. Also, very surprised to see Daisy sitting on that much gas. 1,600 gas. I would have thought a Templar Archives for Archons would have been a very, very natural choice, as well as Archons would have broken down all of those force fields, allowing the units to come in even more quickly. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for Game 2.